Hello, all. This is chapter 6, and chapter 6 is about currency. And US currency, you all know about US dollar and dollar in Canada, Mexican pesos, Japanese yen. You have heard different currencies in for different countries use different currencies, and we want to know how these things play. And one assignment also I have for you all is related to the companies. As you all know, you are assigned one company of Dow Jones, one of the Dow Jones Industrial Average companies. And I don't know if you have heard of the trade war that has started between US, Canada, and China. When Trump became the president, he said that he was going to come into, challenging Mexico and telling Mexico why they are sending, I don't know, why there are too many immigrants to the US, why they are not putting a stop on drugs. And Trump said that if they didn't stop, these issues, if they didn't put a stop on these issues, he is going to get into a trade war with them, with the Canada and with the China, with China as well as with Mexico. And this has a lot to do with this chapter, which is currency. What is going to happen to the currency of the US and to the dollar? Is the value of dollar going to go up or down? When we say the value of dollar goes up against Mexican pesos, that means that imagine that you have $1,000 and you want to go to Mexico, and you give that $1,000 to a bank. Let's say we said Bank of America, for example. Bank of America, you say you want to go to Mexico, you cannot, they don't use, dollar there, and you want, pesos. Therefore, this is what happens. Let's say if yesterday, 1 month ago, you went to the Bank of America, gave them $1,000, maybe they gave you equivalent of, let's say, $4,000, for example, worth of Mexican pesos. Now, we will look at the exchange rate, between US dollar and Mexican pesos, as well as Canada is using its own dollar, which is the value of it is less than a US dollar, which means if you try to go to Canada, at the border you have a dollar, you go there to exchange it, they give you $1.25 of Canada, which means that you gave a dollar, they gave you not the US dollar, but Canadian dollar, $1.25. Means that the US dollar is more expensive than Canadian dollar. If you went to Mexico, if you gave $1 at the border of Mexico, they gave you 17 pesos for $1, Now, if you decide to go to Mexico, you give $1, they give you 20. Before it was 17. But now, because of this trade war, they give you 17 pesos. Is it good or bad? And how these rates, why these are changing, just like, the interest rates we talked that could change, and Federal Reserve had a lot to do, and, but here, these currencies, how they go up and down, who decides about it? What are the concepts behind that? And today we have a discussion for all of you regarding your company. How is your company doing? How is your company doing? And we will get through that. Therefore, on this chapter, we express value in terms of other currency. We already talked about US dollar versus, Canadian dollar, and demand for currency and different devaluations and why they go up and down. And then we go in here, chapter 2, objectives, and international currency flow occurs between individuals, firms, and government. which means, as you all know, many of the US companies are international companies, which means, Apple. Apple has a branch in China, in other countries. Tesla has branch in, Europe, China. These people have to hire, these companies have to hire Chinese people. If they hire them, they have to pay them in Japanese, currency. When I said Japan, China, in Chinese, and the same as if they have, branches in Mexico, they have to pay Mexican pesos. Therefore, the Apple has to worry about the issue of currency because it goes up and down. If the currency in pesos becomes expensive, let's say today I could go and give $1, get 12, 17 pesos. If the pesos become expensive, if I give $1, they gave me 15 rather than 17, then Apple is losing 20%. How is it going to pay for the Mexican workers? Therefore, the issue of currency is an important issue. And then it is telling you here, it is the exchange rate. If you gave $1, they gave you 0.8 UK, for example, currency, equivalent of UK currency. And Mexico, do you see it is 18? Here is written 18. That means if you gave $1, it gave you, Mexico, let's say 2 years ago, gave you 18 Mexican pesos. That is what we will look at exchange rates. And one US dollar is equivalent of 1.2, pound, and this is 0.8 euro. Which means if you give $1, if you gave $1, they gave you 0.8 euro, 0.89 euro. This book is maybe 1 year old or 2 years. These numbers have changed, and we can easily look at that currency, and demand for currency, and supply of, currency, and how they impact each other, and how they go up and down, and these are the issues we are going to talk. And they are, this currency will need the system of double entry bookkeeping to international companies like Apple. They have to use, in their balance sheet, they have to report regarding the issues of currency and the balance of payments accounts, value of goods sold, and they are current accounts. And these are the, immediate accounts that government spending and foreign investments. And there are also capital accounts. On their capital accounts, we have investment flows and capital investments. And here again, it is a balance payment of the time period. As you all know, we have import we have import from Mexico, and we have export from Mexico, therefore, we have a trade balance. We want to know whether we are importing more or exporting. And what happens is that, I don't know if you, have noticed recently, it is in the news that we bring more stuff from Mexico to the U.S. than U.S., sells to Mexico. It's something that is a matter of argument, why they are bringing more in here and buying less from the U.S. These are issues that have to be discussed, and, the government now is trying to see what they can do. And U.S. Merchandise trade balance, and most likely the meaning of it, do you see it has gone up? That means that it is, trade balance is that, let's say if you sell 1 million to Mexico, and Mexico sells 1.5 million to the U.S., brings exports to the U.S. Therefore, there is a trade imbalance. That means every year Mexico is exporting to the U.S. and U.S. is importing $500,000 less than what Mexico is bringing products to the U.S. Therefore, that is this negative sign is coming, trade deficit they call it. And International Monetary Fund, it is an organization in Washington, D.C., and it looks at different it tries to monitor to make sure enough money is flows in terms of currency, and these are issues that fixed exchange rate to another currency devaluation, and sometimes the Federal Reserve can central banks can interfere to make sure that the prices of these currencies are stable, and these are the. Let me look at to see if we can find some here. Let me see if anything we can bring here and show me. Okay, U.S. dollar, pesos, and here it is. Look at here how great it is. It is, if you give $1, they give you 20 Mexican pesos. Therefore, if you decide to go to Mexico, it's a good time to go. Why this has happened is because of this trade war that the Donald Trump has brought up. Why? Because during summer it was 18. Now it is 20. If you gave $1, you got 18 pesos. Now you are getting 20 pesos. Is it good or bad? It depends on how you want to analyze. It would be difficult for the companies in Mexico now to bring their products to the U.S. because the dollar has become expensive. When it becomes $1 gives you 20 pesos, that means that it is a devaluation of pesos. Therefore, it is difficult for now it is difficult for Mexican companies to sell their products to U.S. because when they sell the products to U.S. dollar is expensive. They have to give 20 pesos to get $1. Therefore, these are the issues, and it is one of the issues that we want you to talk on the, I have put instructions for the discussion board, and the purpose is to see what happened, this trade, war of Trump with this, with Mexico and China. Are they impacting the companies? The company that I have is Amazon. You all chose one company. We gave you one company from the Dow Jones, industrial average. We want to know what's going to happen to the company because Amazon might benefit from trade imbalance or from trade war, or it might lose. Why it might not be good for Amazon? It's because Amazon might sell a lot of stuff, has operation in other countries, in China, in Mexico, in Canada. Is it going to hurt Amazon or not? This is the discussion that we will look at the discussion board and we analyze. And I put mine, which is Amazon. You look at how I put the Amazon, you follow the instructions and post it on the discussion board. And it is similar to what you did last week.